Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would talk about like music, bands and singers, especially like your first like experience of it or first like favorite band or favorite singer. Yesterday I was at my mum and dad's house and it was like my mum, my dad and my brother, and obviously I took Luke with me, and I was asking my mum about Cliff Richard because growing up, like I remember her listening to Cliff Richard a lot, and I was like, what was like your first memory of like how you found out about him? Like how did you like first hear his music, and like do you remember that moment? Because for me, I remember my first ever like favorite band, which was Busted, who obviously I still love now. Anyone who knows me, I've got a previous video about like going to Busted gigs and gig memories and stuff like that. So I remember the first moment I saw Busted, and it was New Year's Eve, and me and my brother were sitting up in my room, and in my room we had I was like a single bed here, and then there was a sofa here, and there was the TV like at the other end. And I remember we were sitting watching Top of the Pops, and Busted came on playing Year 3000. And I remember looking at my brother going like, who is this band? Like this song is absolutely amazing. And I remember my mum taking me to Tesco in the town where I grew up and me buying their album. And that was my first album that I bought, my first like band that I loved that was mine, not like what my parents listened to. So I asked my mum, like, does she remember that moment for her and Cliff Richard? And she says yes, like really clearly. My mum's 70 years old, and she remembers being at boarding school, and they had this little like portable radio, and like during the night they would turn it on and like listen to radio stations and stuff to get music and listen to music. And she remembers hearing Cliff Richard. And I was like, these moments in our life you remember forever, like your first like kiss, your first boyfriend or girlfriend, your first crush, your first celebrity crush, your first like experience of music that was your own, not your parents' influence. And I remember that for Busted, and I remember the sofa, what it looked like. I remember my room layout, and Charlie from Busted was the first poster I had on my wall. And then I was thinking like other bands like round about that time, obviously McFly. How did I come about McFly? And I remember I used to every morning before school put on, it was TMF back then. Yeah, TMF. And it was the music channel, and it played music videos in the morning, and Five Colours in Her Hair came on, and I was like, love this song. And I remember there was a boy in my class, won't say his name, and he kept on singing Five Colours in Her Hair by McFly, and it got in my head as an earworm. Still a massive McFly fan today. And yeah, I remember buying their first album, and I'd look through the album cover so much so that it was all like folded and kind of ripping, and Not Alone on the CD track doesn't work anymore because I played it so much. Unfortunately, that album got lost in various moves, and I'm pretty sure it'll be somewhere. I won't have thrown it out, but like it got lost somewhere. But I still have my first Busted album. Unfortunately, that's in the loft. Since Luke's come along, he's kind of taken up a lot of space in my house. So all my collections have had to go in the loft. I'll be sure to remind him that when he's older. I remember that. I remember my first experience of music, and I remember buying a Pop Party CD that had Busted and McFly on it, and it had like Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy as well, and Girls Aloud and stuff like that. And it was the first experience of music that was mine and not my parents'. But I remember my mum obviously listening to Cliff Richard a lot. That was a big part of my childhood. Yeah, that's the only music I remember my mum listening to. And I don't remember my dad listening to music at all. But I remember me and my brother used to watch Top of the Pops a lot, and watching the music video channels and like Sean Paul and Girls Aloud and Avril Lavigne, and I still listen to this music now. And I then wonder how we came on to the whole topic was I wonder if, like, obviously me playing Busted, McFly, Mikey, my husband, playing NF, Eminem, and Machine Gun Kelly, like me playing Tokyo Hotel, will that influence Luke's music taste? Because I wonder if our parents' music taste and what they listen to or what they didn't listen to influences us. Because you ask a lot of artists and they say like, oh, my parents listened to this and that kind of influenced me. And I wonder how mine and Mikey's music influence and music tastes will influence Luke, because I've been playing Tokyo Hotel to him recently. And he's been watching like the TV, like looking up at Bill Kaulitz and stuff, and I wonder, like, will that influence him, or will it be like he'll be like, oh my god, my mum used to listen to McFly and Tokyo Hotel, and do you know what I mean? Or that's like, oh, my mum's taste, because like I don't like Cliff Richard, he's not my style, but I do know his songs from my mum listening to him when I was growing up. So I do wonder, and it'll be quite interesting what his music taste will be. I'm trying to remember how old I was when I first started listening to my own music. About 10, 11 years old. So got a while for Luke, got about like 9.5 years until he's 10. But it'd be quite interesting to see his music taste and if it's influenced by me and Mikey. Because mine and Mikey's music tastes are like chalk and cheese. I do like NF, I do like Eminem, I do like Machine Gun Kelly, but that was more from him, and I love Eminem. But again, funnily enough, that music taste and influence came from meeting Mikey when I was 11, 12 years old, and he listened to Eminem, and I went home to my dad and going, oh, there's this boy I like, and he listens to Eminem. And my dad was like going on Amazon and ordering his albums for me, and that's how I got into Eminem. This sounds so pathetic, like 11 years old and being like, a boy I like at school likes this music, so I must listen to it. So I wonder, because we come across music in such bizarre ways. I came across Tokyo Hotel scrolling through someone's Bebo page, and on Bebo you could have a like tag video on your page that came up, and someone had Über Ende die Welt. I probably said that totally wrong. Ready, Set, Go in English, but they had that music video on their timeline, and I was like, pushed it, and I was like, who is this band? Tokyo Hotel. Started googling them. I was like, I will not become obsessed with another like boy band. Yep, I did. I became obsessed with them, and 14 years later I'm still listening to them, because I was 16 then. But I don't remember whose Bebo page it was, but I remember scrolling down, and that's where I saw the music video for Über Ende die Welt. And yeah, all these bizarre ways you come across music, I find it truly fascinating, especially our first tastes in music, and if we still like that music now. Because see, some music that I listen to now that I listened to back then, I'm like, cringe fest. Like, I can't listen to something kind of ooh by Girls Aloud anymore, and at 14 years old I was obsessed with that song. Can't listen to it now. It's just cringe. I done videos back in 2020 about gig memories, like all the gigs I've been to, McFly, Busted, obviously mentioned in these videos, so I'll post the links somewhere probably in the description if you want to check those out.